Have you ever asked yourself why you are so afraid of failure? We all fear failure to some degree. It's a deeply ingrained part of our human nature, a survival instinct that's been fine-tuned over generations. But when does this fear become an obstacle, a hindrance to our growth and development? To answer that, let's delve into the psychology behind the fear of failure. To begin with, we must understand the concept of failure avoidance. It's a protective mechanism, a way for our brain to shield us from potential harm or discomfort. We're wired to avoid situations that might lead to failure because, quite simply, failure hurts. It can bruise our ego, dent our self-esteem, and trigger feelings of inadequacy. However, in our pursuit to avoid failure, we often miss out on opportunities for growth and learning. Now let's talk about perceived threats. These are the negative outcomes we imagine might happen if we fail. The key word here is imagine. These threats are often not real or imminent, they're projections of our mind fueled by our fear and anxiety, and yet, they can paralyze us, stopping us from taking risks or venturing into the unknown. Our fear of failure is also shaped by societal values and personal experiences. Society often equates success with worth. So when we fail, it feels like we're not just failing at a task or a goal, but also failing as individuals. Our personal experiences too play a role. Perhaps you were harshly criticized for a mistake in the past, or maybe you grew up in an environment where failure was not an option. These experiences can magnify our fear of failure, making it seem larger and scarier than it truly is. But here's the thing, failure isn't the monster it's made out to be. It's a teacher, a guide, a stepping stone on the path to success. And the fear of failure? It's not an insurmountable wall, but a hurdle that we can overcome. Understanding the roots of your fear of failure is the first step towards overcoming it. So let's take that first step together. In the following scenes, we will explore strategies to conquer this fear and learn how to navigate uncertainty with courage. Stay tuned. Fear of failure may seem like a formidable foe, but remember, it's not invincible. Let's delve into some strategies that can help us disarm this fear and use it as a stepping stone towards success. First off, cognitive restructuring. This is a fancy term for changing the way we think. Often our minds tend to exaggerate the consequences of failure, making mountains out of molehills. Cognitive restructuring helps us challenge these unfounded fears. It's about asking ourselves, what's the worst that can happen? Most times the answer isn't as dire as our minds would have us believe. Next up, exposure therapy. It's a strategy that involves gradually facing our fears in a controlled and safe environment. If we're afraid to fail, we need to put ourselves in situations where failure is a possibility. Start small. Take on a new project, learn a new skill, or step out of your comfort zone in some other way. The goal isn't to avoid failure, but to experience it, learn from it, and realize it's not the end of the world. And finally, resilience building. This is about developing a thick skin, an ability to bounce back from setbacks. Remember, everyone fails at some point. It's not the failure that defines us, but how we react to it. Resilience is built by maintaining a positive attitude, setting realistic goals, and nurturing supportive relationships. It's about looking at failure not as a stumbling block, but as a stepping stone to success. Let's shift our perspective. Instead of seeing failure as a threat, let's view it as a learning opportunity. Each failure brings with it a valuable lesson that can help us grow and improve. If we never fail, we never learn. And if we never learn, we never progress. So embrace failure. Don't let the fear of it hold you back. Remember, the only true failure is not trying at all. With these strategies, you can disarm the fear of failure and use it as a stepping stone towards success. What if the unknown scares you more than anything else? Imagine standing at the edge of a dense forest, unsure of what lies ahead. Uncertainty is that forest, and it can be terrifying. We are all, to some extent, explorers navigating through the wilderness of the unknown. Our minds, wired for survival, crave certainty and predictability. The fear of uncertainty is deeply rooted in our instinct to avoid danger and harm. Our brains have a fascinating mechanism called the need for cognitive closure. This is our mind's desire for a firm answer to a question, any firm answer. It's our craving for predictability, for the comfort of understanding what's coming next. When we don't have that closure, the ambiguity can become unsettling, even distressing. It's as if we're hardwired to prefer an unpleasant certainty over an uncertain possibility. This discomfort with ambiguity can often lead us to make hasty decisions just to escape the unease of not knowing. However, this rush for closure can sometimes blind us to better options. alternatives that could have been uncovered with a little patience and openness to the unknown. The fear of uncertainty can also impact our decision-making abilities. When faced with a choice, the fear of the unknown outcome can paralyze us, keeping us stuck in inaction. We become so focused on avoiding potential mistakes and failures that we miss out on opportunities for growth and development. But remember, not all that is unknown is harmful. Uncertainty also holds the potential for discovery, for surprises, for new beginnings. It's the breeding ground for innovation and creativity, the space where we can push our boundaries and explore new possibilities. Fear of uncertainty is a natural human response, but it doesn't have to control our lives. It's okay to feel uncertain, to not have all the answers. Embracing uncertainty can be liberating, freeing us from the constraints of fear and opening up a world of possibilities. Recognizing your fear of the unknown is the beginning of your journey to conquer it. Remember, every great journey begins with a step into the unknown. Uncertainty is a part of life, but it doesn't have to paralyze you. Think of uncertainty not as a chasm of fear, but as an uncharted territory ripe for exploration. The first step in navigating uncertainty is practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is about being present, fully engaged in the here and now, rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. It's about appreciating the moment and the intricate beauty of life unfolding in front of you. Remember, worrying about an uncertain future doesn't make it any less uncertain. It only robs you of the joy in the present. Next, cultivate emotional agility. This means accepting and acknowledging your feelings without letting them dictate your actions. Emotions are like waves, they come and go, but you, my friend, are the surfer who rides those waves. You can choose to ride them with grace, or let them overcome you. When you're afraid, don't push the fear away. Instead, acknowledge it, understand its root, and then decide your course of action. Developing problem-solving skills is another key to conquering uncertainty. Rather than viewing problems as insurmountable obstacles, see them as challenges waiting to be solved. The more problems you solve, the more confidence you gain in your ability to navigate uncertainty. Remember, every problem has a solution, even if it's not immediately apparent. Most importantly, embrace uncertainty as a catalyst for personal growth and innovation. Uncertainty pushes you out of your comfort zone, encouraging you to think creatively and grow. It's the fertile ground where the seeds of innovation take root. So don't shy away from uncertainty, embrace it, dance with it, grow with it. In the face of uncertainty, fear is a natural response. But courage isn't about the absence of fear. It's about taking action despite the fear. It's about standing tall, even when your knees are shaking. And it's about moving forward, even when the path ahead is veiled in mystery. When you meet uncertainty with courage, you open yourself to endless possibilities. Imagine a life where fear doesn't hold you back. What could you achieve? Let's dive into the transformative power of overcoming fears. Picture yourself standing on the edge of a cliff, looking down at the chasm of your deepest apprehensions. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown. They're daunting, aren't they? But what if I told you that the very fear you're battling is the key to unlock your potential? Consider the story of J.K. Rowling, the brain behind Harry Potter. She was a single mother living on welfare with a manuscript that was rejected by 12 publishers before it found its home. If she had let the fear of failure overtake her, we wouldn't have the magical world of Hogwarts today. Or think about Elon Musk, a man who dared to dream of electric cars and space exploration when these ideas were considered absurd. If he had succumbed to the fear of uncertainty, Tesla and SpaceX would be nothing more than a pipe dream. These individuals fears into fuel. They transformed their apprehensions into aspirations. They saw the cliff and took a leap of faith, not because they were fearless, but because they understood that the only way to conquer fear is to confront it. Now it's your turn. Your fear might be holding you back, but it's also pushing you forward. It's challenging you to rise, to persevere, to conquer. It's a hurdle, yes, but it's also a stepping stone. Take that first step. Embrace your fear. Turn it into your power. Remember, it's okay to be scared. It's okay to fail. The important thing is to keep going, to keep trying, because every time you confront your fear, you become a little braver, a little stronger, a little more resilient, and before you know it, you're not just standing on the edge of the cliff, you're soaring above it. Remember, fear is just a feeling. It can't control you unless you let it.